2021, one of the most hectic years of my life. School's just gone back, meaning that I'm going out every single weekend with my mates, around being an absolute degenerate. But bro, I felt great at the time, to be honest with you. I'd got my first ever girlfriend, hanging out with 4 or 5 of my mates on the regular, doing shit that I definitely wasn't supposed to. And I was going to the gym 6 days a week, getting absolutely yacked. But it gets to April, and I've been invited to my mate Weber's party, which is at the start of May. So obviously hearing this, I get G'd the fuck up, because clearly Weber is my mate from the previous video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. And he always hosts insane parties. So my brother and I ask our mum. Usually it would take some convincing, but because she had known Weber for so long, she says yes. So now all that's left to do is for us to organise the arrangements for that night, who's doing what and when and where. My brother organises to stay at his missus' house after the party, and I organise to stay at Griggsy's house, right? So we're all set. Now, my plans for this night were pretty similar to the previous video. Have some beveraginos, eat a couple bickies, have a good time, vibe to the music, make some memories, yeah? Simple, easy, stupid as but simple enough. Let me just preface this by saying that is not what ended up happening, all right? And that's the story I'm about to tell. Gets to the day of the party, obviously I'm G'd the fuck up. I'll get dropped at Griggsy's house before, dressed in my freshest clothes. We get picked up by Griggsy's sister around 4:30 p.m. We drive to the suburb that the party's in, and obviously on the way there, his sister grabs us the beveraginos. We arrive at Weber's at around 5 p.m. Being his friends, we were there before anyone else. And as soon as we get there, it's on, we start hooking into the beveraginos, we interact, and there's only probably 5 or 6 of us there at this point. But it gets to around 5:30 p.m. and Weber and I decide we're gonna eat 2 bickies each right now. So that's exactly what we do. Now, for anyone who has experienced this before, you will know that it takes effect a lot quicker when you've had some beveraginos. So I would literally say like 20 minutes later, got a set of dinner plates attached to my head. I'm up, I'm interacting with everyone. By this point, more and more people are starting to show up. So I'm sure some of you can relate. I'm in just like a really social mood. I feel like talking to every single person. Obviously, more and more show up. I'm getting photos with people that I've never met before, would never speak to after this party, similar to the previous video. Now, obviously, as I just mentioned, I was in a relationship at the time, but despite this, as more and more girls showed up, I was just in such a euphoric state. I felt like talking to everyone. I started flirting with some girls, which I'd never met before. I didn't know their names or anything. It gets to around 8 p.m. and I can't for the life of me tell you how exactly I ended up in this situation, but I was sitting at a chair by the campfire and Weber was just laying at my feet, gurning. But bro, this wasn't even half of what was to come. We managed to get ourselves up and we start socializing, talking to people again. Gets to around 8:30 p.m. and Weber and I have like a gurn off, you know what I mean? As the night went on, having more and more beveraginos, I decided I was gonna eat another 2 bickies, so I'm 4 deep by this point. I think Weber did the same as well. And I'd say around 10:30 p.m, I decide this is gonna be the best night of my life. I'm gonna make memories, I just wanna make this a night to remember. So I'm getting into this mindset, you know how it is. If you've ever had a night out with your mates, you will know that you sort of just get in this frame of mind where, I wanna make this the best night of my life, bro. I wanna make some memories with you. It was like that. Right, so I messaged my Ugdre Day, who would usually hook me up. And it just so happened that it was a girl. So I asked her to swing by. Sure enough, she does. I get what I'm after. And by this point, everyone's pretty loose, it's sort of chill. Anyone can sort of come into the party. There's probably like close to 100 people there at this point. So I say to her, do you want to come in? It'll be all good. And she goes, oh, are you sure? Are you sure it's going to be all right? Is it an open house? And I was like, yeah, no, it's my mate, Weber. He's going to be all good with it. So this girl, my Ugdre Day, she comes in with me and she's talking to people. There's guys from her school who she knew there. All right, so once she comes in, I eat another 2 bickies, so obviously 6 by this point. And I keep talking to her, but everything from this point is a little bit fuzzy, okay? I'm talking loose with everyone, I'm literally flirting with my Ugdre Day, trying to sauce her up, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, she ends up leaving 20 minutes later. Now, this is the part you're going to want to pay close attention to. This is the part of the story I'm going to struggle to tell without pissing my pants laughing, or at least without a smile on my face. Around 11 p.m, I'll go into the garage where like all the adults are, like the parents of people at that party and Weber's parents as well. I'll start talking to this lady who would have been like 45, 50 years old. And she asked me if I had a charge cord. And being the gutter rat that I was, I did. I had like a full assortment of cords and like battery packs and stuff in my itch pig pocket. So I grabbed them out, I hand her a charge cord, and you know, she thanks me obviously. I start talking to her more and more, and as she's sort of speaking with me, she says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what do you mean? Like, I've just had a few beveraginos." You know, that's obviously not exactly what I said. But as she's looking at me, I'm like, sort of glitching, if you know what I mean. I'll try and show you here. Sort of like that, right? And she ends up saying, "Oh, okay, yeah." And she asks for my name. Now, bro, for whatever reason, I get super paranoid at this point. I'm like, shit, what if she knows my mum? What if she tells my mum that I was at this party this late? Because I promised my mum I'd go home at a certain time. And so I tell her, my name is Henry. Fucking Henry. This is where the story gets really, really good. I'm in and out of the garage over the next, say, 20 minutes. And obviously I'm in a mood where I'm willing to socialize with literally anyone. That's how I wound up in the situation of, you know, talking to this 50-year-old mum. But I come back in at one point and I start talking to Weber's older brother. And I hear this lady say, "Oh, there you are, Henry. I've been looking for you, Henry." And I look at, like, I turn around, and at the same time, Weber's older brother says, "Who the fuck is Henry?" And, you know, obviously she points at me, and Weber's older brother, loud as fuck, goes, "That's not fucking Henry, that's Luke." And everyone in the garage, all the adults, just start pissing their pants laughing. Because for the past 10 minutes, this lady had been walking around the garage looking for Henry, and everyone just kept saying, "Nah, we don't know Henry, maybe go look out there," this and that. The whole time she was looking for me. Another quick little detail I forgot to mention is after this lady found out my name wasn't Henry, she sent this photo to her daughter, fucking exposing me. And to this day, bro, anytime I talk to the Weber boys, they always remind me of good old Henry. But I guess to around 11:30 p.m, by this point I'm walking around with two people, you know, holding me up. It's like one either side. I'm socializing with people I'd never spoken to before. Somehow Weber and I end up in the same situation as earlier. You know, I'm sitting on the chair, he's at my feet gacking. And bro, from here, what I remember vividly was getting picked up by Griggsy's sister at around 2 a.m, going back to Griggsy's house, eating a couple more bickies, and passing the fuck out on my bed for the night. Now I wake up the next morning in my brand new Calvin Klein shirt. I think it was like 60 bucks. That was a lot of money to me at the time. Was ripped clean in half whilst still on my body. And I'm wigging the fuck out. So I launch out of bed and I grab my phone. I'm looking for answers because I don't remember this happening, but obviously I still had a clear recollection of the night before. Long story short, I'd completely burned myself out that night. I still, to this day, have no idea how it got ripped in half. Now, to add to all of this, I'd flirted with multiple girls that night whilst being in a relationship. You know, sure, my girlfriend never found out, but that's not the point. This just goes to show that poor choices lead to poor choices. I'm not one to do any wrong in a relationship, but in putting myself in that situation, wrongdoing was inevitable. So moral of the story, don't be a degenerate. If you're gonna go to a party, do it without all the other BS. I can promise you, you're not actually missing out on anything worthwhile. Enjoy your teen years in a responsible manner. You can still go to these gatherings without any of the bullshit. And your future self, who doesn't look like a 100-kilogram pile of melted ice cream and has the brain capacity to structure a proper sentence, will be thanking you. Hit that sub button, smash like. I'll see you in the next one. Stay grinding, bro.